So, Senior Rotax final number 1, a capacity grid of 36 drivers. Your grid order is as follows. Juho Valtonen and Matilda Olsson representing Finland and Sweden. Row number 1, numbers 302 and 323. And it's the 349 of Sean Butcher and the 371 of Zombar Kovac from Hungary on row 2. Mark Kimber in the 387 from the UK is alongside countryman Tom Edmonds in the 355 from KR Sport. Lewis Gilbert, the Dual Ride Diamond from Strawberry Racing, will be alongside... sorry, my apologies there. Lewis Gilbert will be alongside Reese Hunter. Then we'll have Kian Shields and Philip Vava rounding out the top 10. Ben Casely and Ehad Turka will be on row 6 ahead of Dave Blum and Eduardo Cosateng from the Philippines. Dean McDonald and Miles Apps round out the top 16 ahead of Kai Hunter, Charlie Turner, with Linus Henson and Elia Galvanin completing the top 20. Rounding out the 36 strong is Guilherme de Oliveira, Felix Jansson, Bradley Barrett. We've got Anthony Bilou, Mads Ries, James Johnson, Storm Breuer, Maxime Turiev, Andreas Herbert, Luca Leistra, Rasmus Friedel, Paul Forkema, Lori Lepai, Fabian Bock, Kian Sang and Tima Eroshin from Russia rounding out the 36 strong. They're now on to, they've just had the sighting lap, they're now on to the formation lap. The timer is now extended to 14 minutes plus 1 additional lap. So we'll have about 15 and a bit minutes of action here as the driver's now starting to get some heat into the newly CIK FIA homologated Mojo D5 CIK tyres. If it was wet weather conditions, it would be the W5s, which are newly introduced as well, but they are still the same tyre that they were last year. But now a big thank you to the CIK FIA for helping to homologate them, along with Mojo's parent company, Heidenau Tyres. So now it's down to both Valtonen and Olsson to control the pace. Valtonen scored 2 victories yesterday. Olsson scored 1. Lewis Gilbert has put 1 in the bag, along with Kian Shields, Sean Butcher, Zombar Kovac, and also Tom Edmonds. So predictions are out the window for this one. We have to anticipate what is going to happen as they now start controlling the field through turn 17. For those watching on home, pole position is on the left with Juho Valtonen from Finland and Matilda Olsson from Sweden alongside. They now start to accelerate as the Rotax roar goes into life. We go lights out, and already there's 2 wheels on the grass. That's for the 349. And that's for Sean Butcher trying to go up the inside of Atola. Matilda Olsson now down into P4. Zombar Kovac will be either second or third as they hit the part of the crest of the hill at turn 5 as they all go nearly 3 abreast at some points. It's 2 by 2 side by side. The whole field getting through cleanly thus far, but it could be very, very a different story if it had come very differently. Some drivers will have to make sure they do not outbrake themselves or brake too late. Or come compromised because of people braking early as the field now makes its way through turn 12 for the very first time in this race. So Valtonen still leads. Olsson now down into P5 as the whole field, there's some great action, some great overtakes up the inside. One driver a bit towards the bottom of the top 15, losing out, and it looks like that we've got Sean Butcher and Tom Edmonds. Line astern for second and third. Matilda Olsson up into 4th place. Lewis Gilbert, Zombar Kovac, Mark Kimber, Reese Hunter up into P8, having dropped down initially. Philip Vava, Ben Casely, that's the top 10. Great work from Casely, who started on 10th. He's back up to where he was. Eduardo Cosateng, Kian Shields, Dean McDonald, Dave Blom, Charlie Turner, now up into P15. 2 places behind him is Guilherme de Oliveira, who's had a great start up to 17th, but he's behind the German driver in the name of Linus Henson. But now the lead's going to change as Valtonen gets swarmed. Edmonds gets past not just by Matilda Olsson, but Lewis Gilbert tries to wrestle his way past the Brit for 4th position, but can't go through. And in the lead, it's Sean Butcher. Sean Butcher now takes the lead away from the leader after intermediate classification following the 10 heats we had yesterday afternoon. Now it's really starting to come alive in Senior Rotax. 11 minutes and 48 to go, plus an additional lap. The entire field swarming over each other like a hive of bees as the 344 of Ehad Turka gets compromised by Maxim Turyev, and clearly gesticulating, not very happy at all, was the Turkish driver, as the lead still wages on. And it's not just going to be between Sean Butcher and Juho Valtonen, who are the first two to come down the hill. They will have Matilda Olsson breathing down the back of their necks in just a couple of moments' time, along with Tom Edmonds. Then we got Lewis Gilbert. Then just behind is Mark Kimber. Then we got the 333 of Reese Hunter. Kai is in about 18th place at the moment, but trying to make some headway and get into the top 15 to score some points. But Valtonen on the back bumper of Sean Butcher as they come round the final couple of corners to complete lap number 3 here. Just under 11 minutes remaining, and it is an absolute slipstream fest all the way down to 14th position, which is Dave Blum. Blum started in 13th, so has dropped down a position from where he originally started as everyone goes up the hill, and it's really concertinaed. And I count top 6 are literally line astern, and then from 7th to around 12th, 13th position are with each other, and that's rounded off, I think, by Eduardo Cosateng from the Philippines. As Dean McDonald, I think, has made up a place in the process, and is just behind Kian Shields. They've got Ben Casely just up ahead. Then in front of that is Philip Vava from Spain. So it is it's a dogfight out there in senior Rotax land. And Matilda Olsson going up the inside of Juho Valtonen to take second position through turn 16. Nice work from the Swede based out of Uppsala in Sweden. Home track for her is Kristianstad at the Azumring, where we visited last year, where she provisionally secured the crown and then finished it off with a victory in the first final at Wackersdorf last September. But now there is still, as long as there is breath in my body, I will be speaking as much as possible, because I think we've had a change for the lead. Olsson's hit the front. She's got past Sean Butcher. So now Matilda Olsson goes down the hill in the lead of the race, having started on P2. Valtonen P3, as there's a move up the inside for 5th place. I think that was Lewis Gilbert trying to go through, and he has got through. He's got through on Tom Edmonds. Mark Kimber tried to go through, and Gilbert goes defensive on Edmonds, who manages to force his way past. Mark Kimber does the same too, and right behind is Zombor Kovac. Then also Reese Hunter is trying to make some hay and try and get past Ben Casey and Philip Vava. As again, the battle for 4th place is really heating up. I think there might have been the slightest amount of nudge there on the back bumper of Tom Edmonds, as Lewis Gilbert trying to get his way past Mark Kimber and Zombor Kovac clearly in the Doroi Diamond slipstream as they go across the start-finish line, and Lewis Gilbert is battling away with Mark Kimber. That's going to allow Zombor Kovac an opportunity that he can't really miss out on, and that has happened. So there's been a big change there. I think Mark Kimber, having had an aggressive defence thrown in his general direction by the Doroi Diamond Lewis Gilbert, but the top 3 have started to break away, and it's battle game on between Matilda Olsson, Sean Butcher, Juho Valtonen from Finland, Tom Edmonds in P4, Mark Kimber P5, Lewis Gilbert now down into 7th behind Zombor Kovac. And then you've got the 353 of Ben Casey. Then also Philip Vava. Just behind is Reese Hunter and Dean McDonald. McDonald clearly on the hunt. He was definitely showing that he wants to be there. He's gone up the inside of Hunter into turn 16 and takes the position. So puts the Brit now into P10 as everyone's fighting amongst each other. And now there's a little bit of daylight between Sean Butcher in 2nd and Juho Valtonen in 3rd. Running order at the minute. Guilherme de Oliveira now completes the top 15 behind Linus Henson, Kian Shields, Dave Blum, Reese Hunter, Dean McDonald, Philip Vava. As Matilda Olsson battles away with both Sean Butcher and Juho Valtonen. So Valtonen's got the second win back again in his sails. As we are fast approaching the halfway point of this race, nearly 7 minutes down, just over 7 minutes plus an additional lap left to go as Olsson hits the front. Olsson is very capable of doing great defensive drives, but we have seen, not necessarily a chink in the armour, but an opportunity where drivers have been able to catch up to the Swede and pass. Take, for instance, what Mark Kimber and Lewis Gilbert did last night in the last qualifying heat of the day. It's side by side between Bradley Barrett and I think Eduardo Cosseteng through turn 13. Barrett gets through. Nice work from the Brit, and there's another move just up ahead of him. And that looks to be possibly Linus Henson battling away for around about 13th, 14th or 15th position. 387 gets the black and white, and that is Mark Kimber. So up the hill, the drivers go. It's an intensely deceptive camber around the circuit. When Sarah and I were walking the track yesterday, it's quite interesting how steep the camber is, angling towards the left hand in terms of a bias is quite pronounceable, let's say. So the top four now breaking away. Looks like Tom Edmonds has got some speed and he's catching up to Juho Valtonen and he's dropping Mark Kimber a little bit. Kimber was about 9/10 of a second off of his fellow countryman last time around, as we are now on lap number 8 of this encounter. 5 minutes and 38 seconds to go in this race. Olsson's now lost out the lead as Sean Butcher now gets past the Swede, Finland, and then Great Britain in the form of Juho Valtonen and Tom Edmonds. We go into the latter part as another move up there. Great work by Matilda Olsson to fight back against Sean Butcher as she takes the lead back on turn 3 and 4. Down the hill from 5 into the left at 6. Then it is 7, 8. Down the first part of the descent through towards turns 10 and 11. Through the right-hand sweeper at 9. Down into 10. Deep braking zone here. Very aggressive on the brakes, but you've got to turn in, rotate the carts, and then push out. As again, Butcher goes up the inside of Olsson to retake the lead through turn 12. Edmonds sizing up Valtonen. Olsson trying to get past Butcher. It's absolutely a stalemate. Changes of positions happening up and down the order. And there's a move past the 344 of Ehad Turka. Looks like Andreas Hebel has made some great hay. He's made a great way up the order. I think that puts him in about 25th position for the Frenchman with Dams Racing. As now bump drafting goes Matilda Olsson. 362 gets a warning flag. That's Maxim Turiev from Russia. This time Butcher holds on to the lead going through turns 3. Up the hill towards 4, 5. Down the dip into 6. Into the left. Into the right at 7. 8 to the crest of the hill, the top part of the circuit. And whilst they're fighting, I can sense that Mark Kimber, Zsombor Kovac, Dean McDonald, Lewis Gilbert, Philip Vava, just behind Ben Casely, who's in 9th at the moment, could be catching up. And I'm just keeping an eye. The top 12, rounded up by Guilherme de Oliveira, as Valtonen has got past Olsson, as has Tom Edmonds. Olsson down into P4. Guilherme de Oliveira now up into P12. And at the minute, the fastest lap is being set by a Sony Vitesse driver. Bradley Barrett on an absolute mission, now rounds out the top 15. So second to around about 10th is really, really close. I'm going to watch the indexes on the deltas. And between 1st to 12th, that's Sean Butcher leading for KR Sport, and a KR Sport driver in 12th, Guilherme de Oliveira. They are separated by 3.7 seconds, and de Oliveira closed up by over 0.3 of a second on Reese Hunter. So still 2 minutes and 49 seconds plus an additional lap left to go in this race. And now it's the KR Sport 1-2. As now Sean Butcher leads the way in the 349, making his Euro Trophy rookie appearance debut here this weekend. And it's a 1-2. It's a British 1-2 as Tom Edmonds in the 355 from KR Sport is in second. Juho Valtonen from SP Motorsport on the Kart Republic chassis in the 302 representing Finland. Third, Matilda Olsson, 323 from Strawberry Racing from Sweden. P4, Zsombor Kovac, D. McDonald now is 1.5 seconds off of the leader. As now Olsson goes up the inside to try and take the position from Juho Valtonen. And that was an absolute dynamite manoeuvre from Zsombor Kovac. but then that allows the door to be open for both Dean McDonald and Mark Kimber, who have now got through into 5th and 6th position. So Kovac, I think, went a bit too hot into turn 6, hit the curbs, and it unsettled the Hungarian and put both McDonald and Kimber out in front in 5th and 6th. Lewis Gilbert now in 8th place still, and he's got Philip Vava behind. Then it's Ben Casely, Reese Hunter, who's been closed in by Guilherme de Oliveira, who took 0.4 of a second out of him on the last lap and has now taken 11th through turn 16. Bradley Barrett looks to be now in, that is about 14th position. So he's got past Dave Blom. He's got Linus Hensen from Germany up in front. So Bradley Barrett looking to score the maiden points for Sode Vitesse on its debut in Europe. So first and second, it's still Butcher and Edmonds leading the way. Olsson third, Vartanen in 4th place, McDonald, Kimber, Kovac, Gilbert, Casey, Vava, de Oliveira, Hunter, Henson, Barrett, Blom, Kosseteng, Kai Hunter, Elia Galvanin, Charlie Turner, and Kieran Shields rounding out the top 20. And well, there's been a penalty issue to the 362, and that is Maxim Turiev from Russia. 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. And I'm just keeping an eye on the lap times between probably the top 3, and the fastest out of them was Tom Edmonds. Let's see what the times are now as they cross the start-finish line to start lap number 14. Matilda Olsen was quicker than the leader by just over 1/10.5 of a second. 0.17 to be pretty much precise. And whilst Edmonds is trying to battle his way past Sean Butcher for the lead, as the timer has now expired, 14 minutes have now gone. We're on to the penultimate lap as the leaders head down into turn 9 for the penultimate time of this race. So Olsson's got a bit of clean air, and there's been a disaster. A bit of a disaster looks to be for the 346 maybe. Oh, that could be the 344, not too sure. But great work by our camera crew to pick that up. That looked to be a particular, it might have been somebody, I'm just trying to keep an eye on that at the moment, but the action is fast and furious out on the circuit. As Edmonds and Butcher still battling away over the lead. This is allowing Matilda Olsson to close, but not just that. Valtonen's coming under pressure from Dean McDonald. Mark Kimber not too far adrift either as we go into the final lap of the race. As there's more defending going on, and Valtonen's lost out. Valtonen's lost out to McDonald, who runs wide coming out of turn 1. The Vin pounces up the inside of the brick going through turn 3. Up the hill into turn 4. Now into turn 5. Matilda Olsson now with the leaders. It's a 3-way scrap for the victory in final number 1 here in Senior Rotax. They come down towards turn 9, the right-hand sweeper for the final time. And Butcher and Edmonds have controlled things for quite a distance, but Olsson now looks back, sees she's got clean air, which means she can fight. And she will fight, and she's closed right up about half a cart length behind Tom Edmonds. And now the run down to turn 4, 15 and 16 for the final time with the leaders. But the battle for 4th not over yet as Mark Kimber goes up the inside of Dean McDonald to take P5 on the 16th corner, round the final corner. It's going to be a win, and that is for Sean Butcher. Tom Edmonds takes 2nd. Matilda Olsson takes 3rd place. Juho Valtonen in 4th. Mark Kimber steals it with just 2 corners to go to take P5 from Dean McDonald. Zombar Kovac in 7th. Lewis Gilbert in 8th place. Ben Casely 9th. Philip Vava in 10th. Reese Hunter, Bradley Barrett, Dave Blom, Eduardo Kosseteng, and Kai Hunter, provisionally speaking, complete the top 15 drivers who all score points in this race, subject to any technical and sporting checks. Rounding out the order from this race, apologies on the screen, we've got the micro final showing up there, but we've got Elia Galvanin in 16th, Charlie Turner 17th, Keen Shields back to 18th at the checkered flag, Mads Rees 19th, Maxim Turiev, who got a penalty, in 20th, provisionally speaking. Anthony Boulou, Felix Jansson, Miles Apps, Andreas Heber, Tima Eroshin, Rasmus Friedel, Luca Leistra, Storm Breuer, James Johnson, Kian Sang, Fabian Bock, Paul Fokema, Laurie Lepai rounded out. And it was, and I think that might have been the 305. That was Guilherme de Oliveira. So him and Linus Henson, I think, have tangled. And that is the case. I see them up on the exit of the left-hander at turn 4. So they retired with just 2 laps, well, with about a lap and a bit to go, with Erhard Turka unfortunately retiring on lap number 12 here in Senior Rotax. Final number 1.